They thought we were the monsters. But it wasn't until we fought humans that I understood what real monsters look like. I am Velek, former subcommander of the 6th Alari Assault Fleet. I carry 1,000 scars on my body and 1,000,000 more in my mind. I survived the human war front, and now I speak. Not for glory, but to warn those who still think humanity can be contained. It started with our invasion of Durvan. 3. A human colony on the outer edge of their territory. Intelligence reports suggested minimal resistance. A mining world, sparsely populated. Ideal for testing our new kinetic lance weaponry and establishing forward outposts for the Dominion. My fleet of 17 warships descended like shadows upon the dusty moon, expecting surrender within hours. But no one told us about their 12th Infantry Battalion. They weren't soldiers in the traditional sense. Not the kind we were trained to expect. They had no powered exosuits, no orbital support, and their atmospheric conditions were barely tolerable even for them. Yet they fought. Gods. They fought like cornered beasts with nothing to lose and an infinite supply of hatred. Our lances shattered structures, but they emerged from underground tunnels like termites, armed with crude projectile weapons and homemade explosives that burned through our armor. One of our patrols captured a human scout. Half his face missing, arm shattered, yet still he laughed and spat blood at us. We lost over 800 warriors on Durvan, 3 before we retreated. That was our first encounter with them in direct ground warfare. Command assumed it was an anomaly, a fanatical unit, maybe some elite force bred for death. They were wrong. Every unit was like that. Every human warband, regardless of training, age, gender, or species variant, had the same trait. Refusal to die quietly. I was reassigned to the Iridia front, where our campaign turned into a nightmare. Planet after planet, we advanced, expecting resistance to soften. But the deeper we went, the more vicious they became. On Growlus Prime, our flagship Empress Talon was boarded by a single human boarding team, 12 individuals. That's all. They slaughtered over 200 Alari warriors in less than 10 minutes. When we finally sealed off the bridge, we saw one of them on internal monitors. His leg was missing. He had stapled his stump with some metallic brace torn from the wall, and still he fought with a knife, laughing like some maniacal ghost. We began calling them Karanak, the old word for undead hunters in our mythologies. It felt fitting. They never stopped. Even when we incinerated their cities from orbit, they fought with teeth and nails in the ruins. We intercepted transmissions of civilians, unarmed farmers, forming militias, and ambushing our armored divisions with homemade traps and viral weapons engineered from kitchen chemicals. I remember one day on the forest world in Varus. Our unit, Elite Company Threx, moved through the dense underbrush to secure a relay station. We were ambushed by children, human adolescents no older than 12 cycles. They came from the trees, screaming, firing rusty weapons with unmatched precision. One of them detonated himself with an old mining charge to destroy our supply carrier. We found a recording device later. He had left a message. Tell them we don't break. Tell them the ground is ours. By then, morale across our fleets had shattered. Alari do not suffer fear in the traditional sense. We are bred for conquest. But humans introduced something we didn't recognize at first. Terror, not of death, but of fighting them, of what they became in battle. They didn't fight like soldiers. They fought like demons cast from burning stars. When you killed one, 5 more would come back with vengeance in their veins. They never left their dead. They recovered every fallen warrior, sometimes under heavy fire, carrying corpses on their backs across minefields just to bury them with honor. I met one of their commanders during the siege of Vorton Cradle. His name was Captain Elias Rourke. My squad had him pinned inside a collapsed comms tower. We demanded a surrender. He stood tall, blood dripping from a torn cheek, and said, "You first." Then he activated an explosive that buried the entire structure. He died, but took 20 of us with him. That was the moment I stopped believing we could win. The Dominion sent more fleets, hundreds of thousands, new tactics, biological agents, cyber warfare. Nothing worked. The humans adapted to everything. They even learned our languages mid-war, intercepting comms and mimicking our call signs to sow confusion. One of our dreadnoughts, the Blood Maw, was taken down by a false signal transmitted in perfect Alari dialect. The humans hacked into our command relays using devices they cobbled together from battlefield scrap. They didn't win with superior numbers. They didn't have them. We outnumbered them 10 to 1. But they had something else, something no strategist or war computer could quantify. A will to survive that bordered on cosmic fury, a hatred for conquest, and unity. We thought them divided, different nations, cultures, creeds, but when threatened, they became one. I lost my leg on Virex. 7. Human saboteurs blew our transport vehicle and left me buried in debris for 6 days. I survived by drinking condensed coolant. I heard their footsteps as they moved through the wreckage, searching for survivors. I thought they would kill me. Instead, one of them, a woman in battered armor, dragged me out, looked at my insignia, and simply said, "You lost?" Then she walked away. No victory dance. No torture. Just that. You lost. As if the war was already over, and we were too blind to see it. Eventually, they reached our borders, the core systems, and they stopped. Just stopped. They didn't press further, didn't invade, didn't demand surrender or tribute. They simply turned back. The message was clear. We don't want your empire. Just leave us alone. Our High Council didn't understand. They expected retaliation, revenge, annexation. But the humans did not fight for territory. They fought to survive. That's what made them invincible. I now live in exile on a moon far from either empire. I cannot return to the Dominion. I am marked a deserter, a coward. But I am neither. I am a witness. And I must tell the truth. To those who still dream of war with Earth, hear me. You are not ready. No matter how advanced your fleets, how vast your armies, you cannot prepare for human war front. Not because of their weapons, but because of who they become when cornered. You think death frightens them? They have stared into extinction and built monuments from its ashes. You believe pain will break them? They drink agony like wine and sing songs of lost comrades. You think fire will burn them? They will walk through it, carrying the bones of their ancestors, just to plant a flag. I remember the eyes of a human medic on Narthen Ridge. She was tending to a wounded Alari, one of ours, bleeding out from plasma fire. She knew he might kill her once conscious. Still, she saved him. When asked why, she said, "Because that's what we do. We fight monsters, but we don't become them." That, perhaps, is her greatest strength. They are not monsters. They are what monsters fear. So let this be my warning. The next time you think to conquer Earth, think again. You may take their cities. You may burn their skies. But you will never break them. I am Velek of the Alari, and I survived. But parts of me remain buried on every world we try to claim. And every night, I dream of those human eyes, cold, determined, unyielding, and I wake in terror.